Hello. It's Autumn,
And Alder.
and today we are going to talk about The Bead Game, a Canadian film from 1977, a short film.
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes long, little over 5 minutes. And then Ishu Patel is the animator. And then we have music as well.
Yes. This is another sort of abstract short. For the title Bead Game, it's composed of all of these like little like dots, and they form into different sort of objects, characters, animals. Yeah, and it to me it sort of seems like it's kind of like mirroring evolution because it starts
Definitely.
very simple, like it looks like almost like little worms, and then they grow bigger and bigger and more
Right.
intricate, and they start seeming to like eat each other and yeah, battle.
Yeah. It's starting with like a one dot, I believe, and then that replicates. And then we like the sea animals before we get to the land animals and then the humans. And there's lions fighting at one point as well.
Yeah, it was pretty intricate. I was really kind of curious, like, how did they storyboard this? Like, because the movement it was incredible and intricate, but I don't know how you even like how do you I don't know how many people like worked on the animation itself, but I don't know how you could convey that idea. I mean, much less to yourself, to others.
Yeah, definitely. And I also thought about that as far as what came first, the music or the animation. Were they animating to the music or did the music come after? Because it was so spot on, like with the changes that would happen often. And so when you were saying storyboarding, I was thinking, well, maybe they were just playing this music track over and over again, which must have, you know, been a lot more of a
Like labor intensive.
yeah, labor intensive in the 70s than now where you can just, hit play again. Yeah.
The music was very lovely. It was, I believe, called Drums of India. That's what it said on Discogs. It was all sort of like, I suppose, like classical Indian drumming, very rhythmic, very expressive, even very melodic as well.
There's also the atom symbol that appears throughout, and reading into the background a little bit about the animation is that it was inspired by the beadwork of Inuit women, and that it was in response to India's development of nuclear weapons. So we end with that image of the atomic symbol, and then it starts with a single atom as well.
That makes a lot of sense because there was a lot of sort of like explosive movement, and at first I thought it was like referring to the Big Bang because a lot of it looked like stars, kind of, and like
Yeah.
like exploding and then turning into the universe. Honestly, I thought a lot of it was kind of like fireworks. Also, I mean, I don't know if that was intentional, but it
Yeah.
had this like very kind of like even though if it was like about like the atom bomb excuse me, about nuclear weapons, it still had this like aesthetic beauty to it. It actually kind of reminded me a little bit of light brights.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
all remember
Mhm.
that toy we had as
Mhm.
kids? I thought it was very unique, and I also liked. I don't know if this is how it looked when it was released, or if this was just sort of like the transfer, from the film. But it had this like dark pink hue, kind of like glow to it on it, and that might have just been like the film like decomposing or something, because this is pre-digital, but I
Yeah.
thought it gave it a nice character.
Yeah, definitely. This also won a lot of awards. There's like a whole laundry list on Wikipedia, but of awards and then also nominations. But yeah, it won a BAFTA award for best short fictional film, and then I think like maybe one, two, three, four, five, six, seven nomination awards. So yeah, this was a big one.
Yeah, and it seems to be keeping in theme with a lot of the other films we've done with sort of like consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it still seemed like there was like this evolutionary aspect, the way like the animals were sort of fighting and then they consume each other and then being reborn in a different form,
Mm-hmm.
and then just this continual like rebirth. It seemed like a very much cycle of life type
Definitely.
thing.
Yeah, this one had so much consumption, but like more egg laying, like and rebirth and stuff than previous.
So many eggs. But yeah, I mean, it was so intricate and yeah, beads. I think the French title was Histoire de Perle, which I was like, pearls? Is that what? Maybe pearl and bead, or maybe it's the same word. I'm not sure,
Huh.
but yeah, I mean, at some points it kind of looked like screensavers a little bit, like from like the late '90s. Some of those like
Mm-hmm.
the sort of like how do I put it? Everything was like sort of disintegrating away, and yeah, like sand. It was very pretty.
What did you think about the final image? There's it looks like hands with one of those cat's cradle games in them, and then there was the atomic symbol in the middle of that, and like cat's cradle referring to maybe a game or like fragility or something.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I was definitely excited to see that because, it's interesting. One thing I like about watching older media is sometimes you'll notice things that it's like, oh yeah, we played that as kids too. And it's like, oh my god, they did too.
Oh
And
yeah.
you start to notice certain little cultural things that transcend generations. So I was like, oh, I haven't seen one of those in ages. Um, it was interesting that the atom symbol was inside of it because the game Cat's Cradle is very like complex and nuanced and intricate because it's kind of like this like puzzle,
Right.
and
You're not really keeping something in the same spot, like you're moving the strings around constantly. So, but it was just static, like in the hands.
I mean, if this is about nuclear weapons, I'm assuming that it was sort of like a symbol of how humanity has tangled itself up, sort of,
Oh yeah.
and
Mm.
at the heart of it is, this potentially very dangerous thing. um, Yeah, so I mean, it is a very powerful image, especially that it was like mostly static.
Right. Yeah, and I liked what you said about going back to older media and that we play the same games as kids because I think that also speaks to like the eggs throughout it and the rebirth and stuff and like maybe looking like look to the children or something like
The
that.
children are the future.
Right. Yeah, this one also had a lot of weapons in it though. Like I think there was like chariots and guns and tanks and airplanes at some point like after the animals and then the city, it started to kind of morph into more industrial type stuff.
But there was also like the Neanderthal, like Homo sapien era. So it goes from
Mm-hmm.
the animals, and then it has like these cavemen fighting with like sticks and like rocks, and then it transitions into like what looks like a Roman era, and then I guess it just comes to this era where now we have the technology to obliterate each other at extreme levels.
Mm-hmm.
This is I'm sure this is just me miss seeing it, but one scene I liked was when the cavemen were fighting. He was picking up a rock, ostensibly to hit the other guy, and then he gets hit with the other guy beats him to it with a stick. But at first, I didn't think it was a rock. I thought it was like a brain, and I was like, oh, is this sort of like oh, this caveman has knowledge and discovering
Oh.
knowledge, and the other one's like, not today, not today, no progress today.
Yeah, just war and
That's
violence.
just more violence, and y'all can take that as you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is on YouTube. Y'all should check it out. It's by the Canadian Film.
Canadian Film Board. No, the National Film Board of Canada is what it is.
I think this might be the second one we've done that.
Yes, yeah, we definitely did one by them before, and then also this same animator had another pretty famous one, How Death Came to Earth, and which is another one from the 70s, which potentially we could also do that one if people are interested.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, and it's interesting like doing these different abstract ones because when we did the other what was it, the Polish one, it had a more sort of like jovial tone,
Right.
and this one is, I wouldn't say it's somber. I thought this one was still hopeful. I felt like this one had a sort of like majestic kind of like, for some reason it kept reminding me of Burning Man. For some reason it had this like spiritual kind of like quasi-religious sort of like transcendent quality, and it's so interesting how like I think sometimes there might be certain ideas people have about abstract or nonlinear media, and they sort of might see it all as a monolith. But it's interesting how like just because something is more abstract, it can have many different tones. It can be funny, or it can be very serious, or it can be somber, or it can be uplifting. So yeah, that's why I really enjoy a lot doing these abstract shorts.
Yeah, and they're so accessible too that you can just watch them and rewatch them and rewatch them. That's wonderful.
And they're short. Brevity is one of my favorite qualities of media.